Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. Prodigy Bowlers Tour welcomes you to episode 139, the 2023 Kansas City Open March Points Tournament, Division III Championship Round. Today, 5 first-time finalists on Prodigy will meet in a series of matches where the winner will keep advancing, as long as they keep winning. In our opening contest, the number 5 qualifier, Caden Clark of Olathe, Kansas, will take on the number 4 qualifier, Christian Leahy of Leawood, Kansas. The winner of that match will face the number 3 qualifier, Carson's younger brother, Tyler Beach of Weatherby Lake, Missouri. The winner of that match will face the 2 seed, Alec Rutschman of Topeka, Kansas. And the winner of that head-to-head match will bowl for the title today against our tournament leader, Caden Snyder of St. Joseph, Missouri. The player who survives the stepladder finals today will win the KCO and sign the coveted trophy pin. For the third time in the 2022-23 bowling season, we have returned to one of our favorite bowling centers, Olathe Lanes East. This is the house where I coach, and it's the house that will host the season-ending KCO Invitational in June, where the biggest scholarship prizes of the year will be awarded. With the Kansas high school bowling season concluding this past Friday with the 6A state finals in Wichita, it's not surprising that today's KCO was packed. In fact, this tournament attracted the largest field the KCO has had in history, with all 150 spots being reserved and 143 bowlers going to the starting gate. As most regular Prodigy viewers know, the Kansas City Open holds competitions in 5 divisions. Today we're bringing you the stepladder finals in Division III, the group whose averages fall in the 160 to 179 range, with each player receiving handicap in the amount of 90% of the difference between their average and the top of their division, or in this case, 179. An A and a B squad bowl 3 games in the morning, and then they come back after lunch and bowl 3 more games in the afternoon to jockey for position in the stepladder finals. Here's how qualifying shook out in Division III. After the morning block of games, Caden Snyder had thrown down the gauntlet after firing a ridiculous 746 scratch series for a 788 handicap number, giving him a lead of 100-plus pins over Tyler Beach. Macy Proctor, who finished second in the individual competition among the girls in Class 6A at the Kansas High School Bowling State Finals on Friday, kept her momentum going with a solid 646 opening set to grab third after the morning block. But in the afternoon block, Caden Snyder's hot streak cooled way off, as he could do no better than a 554 scratch series. But with the lead he had built up in the morning block, he held on to the pole position. Macy Proctor fell off slightly, but still just missed getting into a roll-off for the 5 seed in the stepladder by 11 pins. Meanwhile, Alec Rutschman, Tyler Beach, and Christian Leahy all maintained their consistent look to secure their spots in the finals today. Some names you might recognize on this list include Joshua Schoenifer, who you saw on our Division II show in October, Cortland Worrell, who I predict you will get to see on Prodigy one of these days, Bailey Coleman, who was on the Division IV Adult Youth Doubles Tournament in December, Avery Lovegren, the younger sister of Colby, who just won the boys' championship in individuals in the Kansas High School Bowling State Finals in Class 5A last week, and Joe Anderson, who appeared on the Division IV Youth Adult Doubles event back in December with his grandfather, Michael. But right now, it's time to get this party started. We begin, as we always do, with Match 1, featuring the number 5 qualifier, Caden Clark, and the number 4 qualifier, Christian Leahy. Christian is one of 2 left-handers in the field today. a field that consists of 5 two-handers. Not a single one-hander made the top 5 in Division III today. Gotta say, it's pretty impressive that these two made the top 5. It was their very first appearance in a Kansas City Open this season. Christian leading off. Oh my. Well, not the opening toss he had hoped for. The 5-10. Here's how you make it. Put the ball on the left side of the 5-pin, slide it over into the 10. He wrote on his bio sheet that he used to do trick shots. Well, he could use one right here. And how about that? A conversion of the 5-10 to open things up on Prodigy today. I like it. He swings that thing way out and just lets it float back to the left side of the 5. Well done. All right, Caden Clark. And now, oh, well, I was going to say, now it looks like he's got a trick shot ahead of him, but the 3 goes out late, so he has just the 10-pin. Some fortunate pin action there for Caden. Carefully setting his feet to go cross lane at the 10. And he covers it. So both players with spares to begin, and well, neither one of these two have been to a stepladder before, so Christian not sure who's up or where. So Caden is still up. And he puts all 10 pins down. A well-executed strike in the second frame for Caden. Take another look at it. 5-step approach. Going over about 17 at the arrows, out to about maybe 8. And see you later, pins. You see we've added Caden's 11-pin handicap into his score in the first frame. We'll do the same with Christian. And that one right in the hole, so a spare strike start for Christian Leahy. With his 5 pins added in, gives him 25 in the first. And we'll look at that shot again. See how he rears up at the foul line. I'd like to see him stay down a little more through the shot. I think that's what cost him a little power that had him leaving the 5-10 in the first. Oh, and he nearly leaves it again. A little fortunate action off the wall to knock out the 5. Have to keep an eye on him. If he would bend his right knee more at the foul line to get lower, see how he raises up at the release? It also causes him to fall off balance to the left on most shots, but if he would stay down through the shot, he would maintain his leverage and have a whole lot more power on the ball. Now Caden up on lane 2. Sends that one way wide, but it comes roaring back. We're bowling on the house shot like we always do at the KCO. Bowling on the burn. The lanes are run once in the morning. And you see where the ball is. It's not quite below his head. See the gap between his ankle and the ball? Like to get that a little closer. He would gain some power as well. But you send that thing way out to the dry part of the lane and it will come back. Caden with a double. And it's just fractionally high, or he would have had 3 in a row. But he leads by 15 with a simple spare to convert, the 4-pin. Caden lists as his favorite pro bowler, Jason Belmonte. Not a bad role model to have. Well, don't hurt him now. Nearly ran by the 4-pin, but it is a spare conversion nonetheless. And now Christian Leahy is going to try to throw a couple of strikes here and make this a match. And that one drifts high. And once again, by rearing up at the foul line like he does, he not only loses power, but he sacrifices a good bit of accuracy as well. And often you'll pull it inside your target. For a left-hander, that means missing right. Covers the spare, though. Christian, another player who likes Jason Belmonte and lists him as his favorite pro. Oh, man! Well, that's a strike Jason Belmonte would be proud of, I'm sure. Watch this. This ball is going to be so high that the 3-pin will go to the wall and get the 6 and the 10, and the 6 rolls over and knocks out the 8. Gotta love that one. Yeah, well, Caden says, I'll show you a strike right here. That one was high flush. We'll see it again. Very deliberate approach. He also rears up at the foul line and falls off to the right a bit, but can't argue with the results of that one. He'd love to throw another one right here. Oh, we got that one a little inside a target, but you've got a little miss area when you're on the house shot, and it held for him. Let's take a look at Caden's footwork. There's that first step with the left. He's a planter, not a slider. Over about 18 at the arrows. That only got out to about 9. But down they go. And once again, Christian missing to the right. And now he's got a difficult spare, the 4-7-8. One we don't see all that often. Of course, this is the right-hander's 6-9-10. And he chops the 4 off the 7. And that's not going to help his cause. So Christian falls 39 pins in arrears and doesn't take any time at all to get up and throw another one. Better shot in the pocket, just a little high, leaves the 6. Look at this guy. He is ready to throw it before the pin setter has even finished setting the pin on the lane. Covers the spare, though. But slow down. This is not a race. The winner is not decided by who finishes before the other guy. Take your time. Caden with another solid strike. That's a turkey, and now his lead grows to 49 pins. And he's got Christian Leahy on the ropes. Another look at this last strike. A little hop at the foul line. But he catches it all at the bottom, and that's what's important. Nearly another one, but that one crept just a little high. So, a 4-pin. Shouldn't have any problems with this one. Caden lists as his high game ever a 246. You would think it won't be long before he betters that. He makes short work of that 4-pin. And now Christian's got some work to do. He can strike out for 221. All right, we will have to revise that figure now. He can now strike out for 210, assuming he makes this 4-pin. But he is running out of chances. Caden Clark is going at a 239 pace. So Christian better just strike out and hope for the best. Through the nose, once again, rearing up at the foul line. I think that's the big lesson that he can take away from his performance today. Maybe this is the first time he's had a chance to see himself on video, but just stay down. Good spare. If Christian would just learn to bend his right knee when he goes into his final step, be it a slide or a plant, keep his shoulders back a little bit and stay down. Don't rear up when you let the ball go. Just stay down with the shot. High hit for Caden, so another 9 count, but guess what? That's enough. He has put this match away. So he gets to take a victory lap here. Covers the 6-pin. So a possible 248. A strike to start the 10th frame. Might as well take it off the sheet and stay in stroke. He didn't even realize it was the 10th frame. He was ready to sit down. That's all right. Just means you're locked in. Now that one hooks high and through the nose, so he's going to finish with 238 with a spare here. You'd think he'd have to feel pretty good about that start. This young man, 18 years old, so this is his last year of junior bowling. 238. And a winning effort that will send Caden Clark on to match 2. But first, we'll wait for Christian Leahy to finish out. You see, he's got not only his right knee is pretty straight at the release, but he's trying to get down by bending forward at the waist, and that gets your spine angle tipped way far forward, throwing your center of gravity off. And that's what causes him to fall off balance to the left. Keep your butt down, your knee bent, your shoulders back, and stay down through the shot. 8 for the fill ball. That's going to be a 184. He'd love to have bowled better, but it's a learning experience for Christian. And it's Caden Clark who's moving on to face Tyler Beach in match 2. We'll have that next. A solid 227 scratch game by Caden Clark, plus his 11 pins of handicap, giving him a 238 game. It was just too much for Christian Leahy to handle. Caden threw a clean game with a double and a turkey sprinkled in there for good measure. Christian only had the one open frame when he chopped the 4-7-8, but he just never could get quite dialed in to find the pocket consistently. I think if he works on staying down through the shot, he'll make a much better showing the next time he finds himself in the stepladder finals. But for now, on this day, it's Caden Clark who's moving on to match 2, where he'll now face Tyler Beach, the younger brother of one of the most consistent players at the KCO, Carson Beach. In fact, Carson has been coaching up his little brother and is in the rooting section as we speak. Tyler, being the higher finisher among these two in qualifying, had the choice of starting lanes. He wants to finish first, so he's going to let Caden lead off. By the way, I should have mentioned earlier, the group to our right, bowling on lanes 3 and 4, that's Division 4, and we'll let you know how their stepladder plays out when we get to the end of the show. And Caden stuffs him straight back, but the 7-pin didn't get the memo. And it stubbornly refuses to go. So, he'll have an easy spare to convert. Just 2 pins difference in the handicaps of these two players, so it should be a pretty close match. Caden with a spare. And now we get our first look at Tyler Beach, whose brother Carson you have seen on the show several times since we moved to Kansas City. And Tyler, who apparently has been coached up by his brother some, bowls a little bit like him. Both of them two-handed right-handers. Tyler actually throws it a little harder, I think. A powerful strike to start to let everybody know he's here to play. And trying to get that half-pocket ripper to go, but instead he gets the weak 10 as the 6-pin just lazily lays in the gutter. So he'll move to the left side of the approach, go cross lane at the 10. Oh, and it falls off into the channel, so an open frame for Tyler, and that doesn't help. You see, we've added Tyler's 9 pins of handicap into his score in the very first frame. We'll do the same thing with Caden. That way you don't have to do any math in your head. Caden, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. How in the world does this one strike? It may forever remain a mystery, but watch this. Right through the nose. And somehow they all cave in. You take the good with the bad. And that was a good one. And that was an even better one there. Caden with a double. And that pushes him out ahead by 24 pins. And now that'll get Tyler's attention right quick. He can ill afford any more mistakes, like that missed 10-pin in the second. Tyler's bowled in a couple of KCOs this season. He finished 6th last month in Leavenworth, the tournament we missed. Ooh, he rips the rack there. And he finished 13th in Division 4 back in January. Watch this one again. This will find that half pocket with the ideal entry angle, and the 5-pin will just shoot over toward the 7. And that is a powerful strike. He could use another one right here. And he gets one. So that gets him back in the match now. Just 14 pins separating these two. Here's Tyler's footwork. Pretty standard stuff. He's a planter, not a slider. Throws it over 22 at the arrows, out to about 12. And down they go. Solid hit. Ooh. Boy, it was trying to be a ringing 10, but the 6-pin said, no, I'll go ahead and get you 10-pin while I'm here. And it did. Watch the 6-pin, the second one from the right. It looks like it's going to go around the 10, but just before it entered the pit, the neck of the 6 just taps out the 10-pin. And that brings the lead back up to 24. And now 34. There is a very nervous spectator in the crowd.
So this is your brother bowling?
It is, yes. Tyler Beach.
Yeah? Are you the one that got him started?
I am, a little bit. Us and a couple friends from our high school actually got us started in bowling. Right around freshman year is when both me and Tyler started.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, he's throwing a shot right now. And he just labeled the pocket.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to rooting for him. I shouldn't ask you to predict a winner. I would imagine you're a little biased.
A little biased, yep.
Okay, well, good luck.
All right, thank you.
That is one of the nicest kids we have met since Prodigy Bowlers Tour moved to Kansas City, Carson Beach. And now his younger brother, Tyler, if he had butterflies to start, they're gone now. He's immersed in the heat of battle. Oh, how about it? Well, if you blow hard enough, they might go down. Watch this. The 5 goes over into the 7. Looks like it's going to be a ripper, but then the messenger. It's the messenger. The head pin comes back off the wall and just barely grazes the 10, and finally down it goes. If the pin setter had touched it, we would have had to reset it. And I don't know if that shook Caden up or not, but that ball was well left, and he leaves the 6-10 on a Brooklyn hit. Lucky to get 8 out of that, actually. Once again, cross lane at this. Be careful not to chop the 6 off the 10. Oh, and he almost did, but down they went. It's a spare, so he can breathe a sigh of relief. But his lead is now cut to 12. And with Tyler working on a strike, Tyler can cut it to just 2 when he gets up in the 7th. Man, we are seeing some crazy strikes today. Another one right through the nose. What gets the 6? Is it the 3 that comes back off the wall? Watch the 3. It doesn't even get to the wall. It tips over as it's sliding into the gutter. Wow. It's a strike, though. But so is that, and now Tyler says, I'm coming for you. The lead is now down to just 2 pins. Watch this, right in the hole. Sucks them off like a vacuum sweeper. No doubt about that one. Now Tyler going for his 6th strike in a row, which would be 7 out of 8 in this match. And maybe the most important one, because that's the strike that gives him the lead. Watch it again. You can't throw the ball any better than this. He just plants it right in the pocket. Over about 21 at the arrows, out to about 12 at the break point, and 10 back. A little light for Caden. Leaves the 2-pin. An easy spare. He's bowled a solid game. Filling all his frames. That's what you ask these kids to do. As we're getting down to the closing frames here in this match. I like the way Caden takes time to set his feet before he goes. One of the things we have to seemingly pound into the heads of some of these kids, especially the young ones, is before you take that first step on the approach to go to the foul line, look down at your feet and set them. Know where you're standing. Know what board you're standing on. That was close. But the 4 gives him a little wiggle, but won't go. So he trails by 9, assuming he can convert the 4-pin. And down it goes. But now Tyler Beach, who is working on a 6-bagger. The longest string of strikes we've seen today so far in this stepladder finals. But the streak is snapped at 6. And now he's got the 10-pin. Oh, look out. Pulled it badly. And an easy spare missed. And now Tyler just handed the lead right back to Caden. Oh, and his good fortune leaves him here. The 10-pin remains. He just missed one a moment ago. That's got to be going through his head. Got to make this. Okay. So he's got the spare in the 10th, the strike, and he'll have 234. Caden is going at a 238 pace. So Tyler will want to get all he can on this shot. If he strikes, Caden will need to fill 17 in the 10th. And that's not nothing. Anytime you force your opponent to mark in the 10th, you never know when they might squeeze it. And the pins always know when you squeeze it. Tyler taking a little extra time here. He knows this is an important shot. It's just count, but every pin matters here. All right, not the shot he hoped to throw, but it's the count he hoped to get. That's a 234. Caden will need to fill 17 so he can go 8, spare 9 to do it. There's a lot of different ways he can get there. A strike here would make his job a lot easier. But it's a 9 count. So he must make this and then get at least 8 on his fill ball to win by 1. Okay, he got the spare. So 8, 9, or 10 will get the job done. And boy, that 2-pin handicap differential is looming large right now. Caden has one number in mind right now. He needs 8 pins to win the match. 7's a tie, 6 is a loser. There's 9, and that'll do it. Caden Clark nips Tyler Beach at the wire to win match 2. And that means Caden Clark will face Alec Rutschman in match 3 when we return. A close match that came down to the very last ball in the 10th frame. But I'll bet Tyler Beach would like to have his second ball in the 9th frame over. That missed 10-pin meant he dropped from being in the lead going into the 10th to trailing. And how many times have we talked about the importance of spares in tournament bowling? But now here's Caden Clark, coming off 2 wins to climb into match 3, where now he'll face Topeka's Alec Rutschman. Alec's only other appearance at the KCO this season came in October, where he finished 15th. So his performance today is already on a level above what he's seen before. But he's got a tiger by the tail with Caden Clark, who's bowled 2 clean games. If Caden keeps that up, he'll give Alec all he can handle. Through the nose for his opening toss, and Alec will face a tricky little spare, the 3, 6, 10. As you can see, he's getting 16 pins handicap compared to Caden's 11. And a solid spare to begin. And now Caden, who lists Cam Carlstedt as the person responsible for getting him to start bowling. You haven't met Cam yet. He's another one of the KCO bowlers, and that is one young man that if he ever does make the show, and I suspect he might, you will have fun watching him. Boy, he can really zing it down there. I think the only reason he hasn't made the show yet is he's a little hot and cold. But guys like that, when they get hot, they're really tough to beat. And Caden comes in a little thin with his opening toss and leaves another tough spare, the 2-8. You got to be careful with these double wood spares, the ones with sleepers in the back. The gap between the 2 and 8 pins is farther than it looks from the foul line, and you got to have that ball hooking from the right to left, hitting the right side or the face of the pin. If it misses left of center, you're going to miss it like that. So 9 out in the first frame, added to his 11 pins handicap, gives Caden 20 in the first. You see we add the handicap in right there in the first frame for all the players. That way you don't have to do any math in your head to figure out where they stand. And now Caden will move over to the left lane and try to regroup. And I'd say that's a pretty good job of regrouping. Puts it right in the hole. Watch it again. Flexes those knees before he takes his first step. A little bit of rearing up the foul line we see with him like we did with Christian in the first match. If he would stay down through the shot, he'd have a little more leverage. Boom. Alec loved that one. This young fellow built like a linebacker, but he's the youngest of our 5 competitors today. He turns 15 next month in April. And that was 10 in the pit. Well, that one drifted a little high, and he will once again face that 3-6-10 combination that he so ably converted in the first frame. But he took no time at all on the approach that time. He just stepped up and went, and you got to wonder if maybe that's why. Take your time on spares. An open frame, and just made this a much closer match. Caden still trailing by 2, but he has a strike up in the second. And gets another one in the third to take the lead for the first time in the match. And you would think the way he's been bowling, he's off and running now. After a 238, 236 start, a little hop at the foul line, but a trip 4, and thank you very much. Whoa, look out. Man, I thought he had sent that one into the moat. That one got way wide. Let's take a look at his footwork again. Maybe we can track that ball down the lane. Watch this. That thing is hanging off the edge. It's on the 1 board. And here it comes. Strike City. And Alec throws another solid one of his own. He's thrown 2 balls on the right lane, both of them solid strikes. We'll look at this one again. See, that ball's pretty much right under his head, but about 3-inch gap between his ankle and the ball. If he could get that a little closer, he'd have even more power. Keep that elbow in close to your body, and that'll help. Oh, how about that one? You could tell that he pulled it. It was well left of where the other shots have gone. But he trips the 4 into the 9. There's his footwork. Over about 23 at the arrows, out to about 12. Watch the 4-pin. Say good night, 9-pin. You won't be needed this frame. Oh, man. A swishing 7. Caden with a good toss that time. Not rewarded. So his lead is 7. But now Alec, with a couple of strikes up, will have the advantage when he gets up in the 6th. He can move out ahead. Caden covers the 7. And now all he can do is see if he can't start up another little string of strikes again here in the 6th. He's been solid all day today. Well, he was flirting with disaster that time, and look at this. The 1-8-10, a very unusual version of the washout, and one you've got to be really careful with. You've almost got to shoot this from the left side with a straight ball, because a hook ball, if it hits the left side of the head pin at the right angle to get the 10, it's liable to deflect left of the 8 and leave the 8 standing. This is a very difficult spare, and it looks like he's going to try to hook at it. He gets the 8, but only because he got too much of the head pin. If he had hit the left side of the head pin, knocked it into the 10, the ball would have probably deflected to the left of the 8. That is a tough spare that you've really got to shoot from the left side of the lane, preferably with a straight ball. And Alex said, whatever, I'm just throwing strikes today. You guys carry on with what you're doing. And now Alec has moved out to a 17-pin lead. And see how he's in balance every time at the foul line? That's what you're looking for. If you can finish in balance, you'll maximize your leverage. And you'll get those half-pocket hits like that to go. That wasn't the best ball he's thrown this match, but he got everything he could out of it because he was in perfect balance at the line. Look out. Boy, he is flirting with Never Never Land out there to the right. Or as my golf partners used to say when I would hit one out there, they'd say, you hit one where the elephants go to die. It's the 1, 2, 6, 8, 10. This one a little easier than the 1, 8, 10, but you must play it on the left side of the head pin. If you try to fit the ball between the 1 and the 6, you'll probably leave the 8. Unless you hook it and then send the head pin around the 2. Well, he managed to get 9 out of that. That 10 pin went down before the pin setter came down to get it, so that pinfall counts. Anytime a pin falls late, if the pin gets touched by the pin setter and the pin setter aids in knocking it over, well, it doesn't count. You got to reset that pin, or in the case of a spare, it just goes on the score as if you left that pin standing. He didn't leave any pins standing on that ball, though. But I tell you what, those back-to-back opens are a killer. I'd like to have those 2 frames back. Unfortunately, we don't give overs in tournament bowling. Solid strike, though. Alec in charge of this match. Light hit, though, leaves the 2. That could have been a 2-10, which would have helped Caden. But not to be. Just an easy single-pin spare. You would not expect Alec to have any problem at all covering the 2-pin. And he makes good on that promise. So Alec in the driver's seat with a 37-pin lead heading into the 9th and 10th frames. Caden still with a possible 224. Alec going at a 231 pace. And there's a strike in the 9th. He's thrown some good ones. They've all looked pretty similar. Let's see how similar. His shots in the 5th, 7th, and 9th frames in our 3-up look. But just how similar were they? Well, let's stack them all on top of one another and give it the exclusive Prodigy 3-deep look, where you'll see any variations. There's a little bit of variation between them, but no variation in the outcome. Those were 3 strikes. Oh, my Lord. Well, now. Didn't see that coming. It looked a little high, maybe a 4-pin, but a 4-6? Really? Well, this is just about going to do him in unless he pulls off a miracle here. And the 4-6 is one you just don't see made very often. It's about a 1 in 1,000 shot. He's thinking about it. He's going to put down his strike ball and go with his spare ball. He's going to try to cut that 6-pin over into the 4, which, again, it's a tough one to make. He went for it boldly. I've only seen it made that way once. But that open frame hands the match to Alec. So Caden really had no other choice but to go for it. But the odds were against him. Anyway, Caden's had a good day today. He's won a couple of matches. He's going to get 9 for his first toss in the 10th, so a possible 182 finish with a spare here and a strike on his fill ball. All right. He's got nothing to be ashamed of. He has bowled well today, and a third-place finish in a field of 33 is nothing to sneeze at. .182 with a strike here. Well, a 5 count to finish, so it's a 177. Not the game he wanted, but he won a couple of matches. I'm sure he learned something today. If nothing else, he learned that he can compete at this level. But it's Alec Rutschman who's going to be moving on to match 4 today, the championship match. And he is going to get a bite at the apple and a chance to take all the cheese. Again, just perfect balance at the line. This kid's got some game, I got to say. That was not his best shot, but he's going to finish with a 240 if he can make the 5-pin. And if he can't make the 5-pin, he doesn't deserve to win. But he can make the 5-pin, as if anyone were going to doubt him on that. 240 to 177. It's Alec Rutschman who's moving on to bowl for the title today against our tournament leader, Caden Snyder of St. Joe. Well, Caden Clark had a nice run in the stepladder finals today, winning the first 2 games and climbing from 5th to a 3rd place finish. Not bad. But in his 3rd match, he ran into a buzzsaw in Alec Rutschman. To his credit, Caden kept the match close until the 5th frame, but when he suffered back-to-back opens in the 6th and 7th, just as Alec was stringing a 4-bagger, their fortunes diverged, and Alec stepped on the gas and left Caden behind in a cloud of dust, denying us of an all-Caden final match. So it's Alec Rutschman who advances to the championship match, where he'll face our tournament leader, Caden Snyder. Caden was red hot in the morning qualifying block, but cooled off in the afternoon as the lanes transitioned. It remains to be seen if an hour on the practice pair to our right will have allowed him to get back the magic touch he had this morning. This should be a close game, as both players are getting nearly the same number of pins in handicap, with Alec getting just 2 pins more than Caden. Alec has never been in this position before. Oh man, what a way to start the championship match with a pocket 7-10. Nothing you can do with this but just get one, throw it hard, hope it bounces out. Just throw a prayer up, really. And it's going to be 8 out. So that gives him 24 in the first frame with his 16 pins of handicap added in. And now our first look at the other left-hander in our field, Caden Snyder. Oh, man, we've had some memorable strikes on the show today, haven't we? Caden gets the 3-pin to fall forward. Watch this. 5-step approach, big drift to the right, as we so often see a power player do. And watch this ball just barely tick the head pin. And I think it knocked the 6-pin into the 3. But a strike is a strike is a strike, right? And he leaves the 3-10, which for a left-hander is the easiest of the baby splits. Put the ball on the right side of the 3-pin, and from his angle, that ball will deflect over into the 10. This is a harder spare to make for a right-hander. The right-hander would rather shoot the 2-7. That's the equivalent of what Caden is throwing at from the left side. Well, that's not going to work. I don't know what he was trying to do, if he was trying to knock the 3 over into the 10, but that's not how you shoot the 3-10 for a lefty. But in any case, they exchange opens, and now Alec is back in the lead. And he leaves a ringing 10. But he has seen this spare before, many times, I'm sure. He will move left and go cross lane at it. Oh my. That's not coming back. That ball was in the gutter at the 35-foot mark. Just a bit outside, as they say. So another open for Alec. You really never like getting opens, but starting your match with 2 opens in a row? No thanks. And that looked like it had plenty of juice to carry out the 7, but the wall shot was not to be this time, so can he make a spare? I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that he'll get this one. Boy, he took the scenic route. That ball was almost in the channel. You saw the 7-pin go way off to the right in the pit. He nearly missed that one. threw the big hook at it. You want to go straight and hard at those single pin spares if you can. That's the higher percentage play. All right, Caden back up on the lane that he got that fortunate strike in the first frame. This young man has only been bowling about a year and a half. He got second at his state high school bowling championship, won a couple of King of the Hill tournaments. His only other appearance at the KCO was in November, where he finished 36th in dead last in Division II. Bowled so bad he got rated down to Division III, and now he has a chance to go from last to first if he can win this match. Oh my. He runs right by the 3-pin. So that's 2 spares in a row that Caden misses on the left. So both players with a pair of opens in their first 3 frames. That's not what you expect to see in a championship match between the 2 bowlers who supposedly have been bowling better than anybody else in the field. So gentlemen, let's right the ship here. Looks like Caden moved a little bit to the left. And that puts him right in the pocket, and he gets a blower strike in the 4th. That's what he's looking for. Watch this again. 5-step approach, big crossover step to the right. Bigger than we usually see or want to see, frankly, but works for him. And you could tell Alec stepped off to the right. That meant that he was out of balance when he let it go. He's been so in balance all day, but on that shot, he fell off to the right. That meant he didn't have all the leverage he usually would have, and as a result, the ball doesn't quite get back. He hits thin and leaves the treacherous 2-4-5-7. Gets it on the left side, not the way we normally would recommend, but you take the spares where you can get them, and this match is all even. Alec Rutschman lists Anthony Simonson as his favorite professional bowler. And that ball doesn't quite get back enough to roll the 2 the way Caden rolled the 3 in the first frame. So he'll have a single pin spare to convert here. Got to take your time on these. Don't let the easy ones get away. And now Caden Snyder, who says he wants to be a psychologist when he grows up. And I have always found the psychology of match play to be one of the most fascinating things about our sport. Well, he snaps that one at the back end and goes to the nose and leaves another one of these tricky little spares, the 4-7-8. Ideally, you'd want to put the ball on the left side of the 4-pin. But you can make it on either side. Oh, can't make it there. Well, the ball hopped out of the gutter and knocked the 7 into the 8. Those 2 pins will not count. Once the ball is in the gutter, it's dead. And any pinfall that you might get doesn't count. So, 7 out, and Caden now trails by 15. Ouch. Comes in light again. Doesn't get the break that he got in the first frame, and you see one of our KCO directors up making that scoring change. The pin setter thought that he got 9 out there in the 5th frame, but Brent is fixing that. Don't hurt him now. Caden just clipping the edge of the 3-pin, but good for a spare. Strikes have suddenly become very scarce commodities. And this time Alec whiffs the head pin entirely. Sent that one way wide, and it didn't come back. And now he's got the 1-2-4. Another one you got to be a little careful with. Put the ball on the 1-2 right in what you would call the Brooklyn pocket. Right there. And that ought to do it. Well done. But he lost 3 pins in count on that first ball, so his lead goes from 15 to 12. We're down to just the final 4 frames in this match, and it is anybody's ball game. He got all of that one. Rips the rack, and Alec with a strike in the 7th. His first strike of the match. Over about 18 at the arrows. That one got all the way out to about 5. Just catches the half pocket and sends everything over into the 7. So now Caden needs to get busy. Oh man, he jerked that one way to the right. Misses the head pin on the right side, and now he's left the same spare that Alec did. This is a spare you would almost never see a left-hander leave. The 1-2-4. Man, he threw that clear out to the north 40. The 1-2-4, once again, put the ball on the 1 and 2. This is where he would have liked to have put his first ball right in the pocket for a strike. There you go. See, if you'd put your first ball there, you might have had a strike, but oh well. Here's his footwork. 1, and then the big crossover step, and then a step to the right with his next one, and he has a very modern power game. You would never guess watching this guy that he's only been bowling a year and a half. Oh man, another one. Well, watch this one. The head pin, I think, is going to do the damage. It will go to the right wall, come back off the wall, get the 6 and 10, and then the 6 pin gets the 5 and tips out the 3 from behind. That's like watching fireworks go off in the middle of March. Alec crossing over. I don't know if that strike that Caden just got to him a little bit, but that was not his best shot. He leaves a single pin spare, still has a 15-pin lead, so he's got to be careful with these. And he covers it easily. All right, a reminder once again, the action you've been watching to our right on the adjacent pair, lanes 3 and 4. That's Division 4, and we'll give you the results of their stepladder finals when we get to the end of the show. We saw Alec get a little out of balance there, kind of caught his balance by touching the floor. As long as you don't touch the floor past the foul line, you're okay. If he had touched the lane past the foul line, well, it would have been a foul. And that would have counted the same as a gutter ball. We'd have re-racked all 10 pins, and he'd have had to shoot at all of them for his spare. But he makes the 2-pin to maintain his 14-pin advantage. But by not striking in the 9th, Alec has left the door wide open for Caden who can throw strikes in the 9th, 10th, and 11th to shut him out. Caden, a possible 200. The best Alec can do is 194. Oh, and that was a pretty good shot, just a little high. Caden, who turns 17 5 days after this was taped. So by the time you're watching this show, he's already turned 17. Six pin. This is no time to be making any mistakes. Ooh. Ooh. All right, here's the situation. Caden can strike out in the 10th for 180. Alec would need to fill 17 in the 10th to beat him. So if Caden wants to put any pressure on Alec, he really needs to double here in the 10th. But he misses the head pin to the left and leaves the 139, not the easiest spare in the world. Not the hardest. That's where you want to put the ball, right there. All right. He's going to finish with a 167 if he strikes here on the fill ball. And that's the only hope he's got. Get every pin you can, and then hope for a catastrophic and highly unlikely total collapse by Alec in the 10th. All right, 167. Alec Rutschman can end this thing and put a W in his column if he gets 7 pins on his first ball. There's 9, and that's a winner. So Alec Rutschman has taken the title in Division III here at the Kansas City Open March Points Tournament. An easy spare, covering the 2-pin. So with a strike on his fill ball, he'll finish with 183. And he's getting some armchair coaching from behind. I don't think he can quite make out what it... Oh, no. He thought his dad just told him to throw it away. His dad said, "You've got it put away." Well, there's no reason to throw it away, but it doesn't matter. A 173 is good enough. Little misunderstanding, miscommunication there. But in the end, Alec Rutschman is your winner in Division III at the Kansas City Open, and we'll visit with him next. Although the scoring pace dropped off quite a bit in the championship match, there was still plenty of intrigue, as it was fascinating watching these two young athletes poke and prod and try to find the pocket with limited success. I mean, our winner only had 1 strike the whole game, and he started the match with back-to-back opens. But despite getting 4 strikes in his match, Caden offset it with 3 opens, 2 of them coming right after a strike. So once again, the match really boiled down to who was able to fill their frames, and Alec won that battle, 2 opens to Caden's 3. And in tournament bowling, usually when you win the spare battle, you win the war. So congratulations to Alec Rutschman of Topeka, Kansas, on winning the Kansas City Open March Points Tournament in Division III today. And you know what that means. He gets to do the honors in signing the coveted trophy pin.
So here he is, ladies and gentlemen, our winner in Division III today, Alec Rutschman. How did you do it?
I just kept my head straight, threw the best I could.
Yeah, I followed you while you were qualifying today. You looked like you were kind of ready to take that next step today.
Yeah, I was really hoping I won something on top 3 today because it's a big thing for me, bowling. It's something my family does, something we all love to do. So getting first place in KCO today means a lot.
Is this your first KCO win?
This is my first place KCO win, yes.
Well, that's first place is winning.
First place is winning, yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Now, because you won on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, you know what that means.
Do I get to sign the pin?
You get to sign the coveted trophy pin, and that means you're qualified for our season-ending Prodigy Tournament of Champions. The winner of that will get to keep the pin unless they decide to give it away, which is sort of a tradition. So, you're in, buddy. You're in. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
It was an honor bowling.
As we mentioned during the show today, the bowlers on our right on lanes 3 and 4 were the finalists in Division 4, and here's how their stepladder finals played out. In the opening match, Liliana Gentlemark, the number 5 qualifier, met Camden Hale, the 4 seed, and it was Camden who prevailed in that match, 195 to 146. Camden then faced Jade Fleming in match 2. You may remember Jade. She was on our Division 5 show back in September. She edged Cameron in a close one, 180 to 174. So Jade Fleming advanced to face the 2 seed, Annalise Keeler, and Jade eked out another close win, 141 to 137, sending Jade Fleming to the championship match where she met the tournament leader, Caden Darling-Near. And it was Caden who claimed the title, winning their match 181 to 160. So congratulations to Caden for getting the job done in Division 4. On our Division 1 show coming up in another week or two, we'll bring you the results of the remaining Divisions 2 and 5. I would love to tell you that I'll have that next episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour ready for viewing by March 18th. That's the goal, but it's a very ambitious target, and it remains to be seen if I'll make it. But seeing as how the next KCO is on March 19th at Aaron's Family Fun Center in Belton, Missouri, March is the only month of the season where there are 2 KCOs held, so I better get cracking. I will tell you this, when the March Points Tournament Division 1 show drops later this month, you will not want to miss it, as it has the most thrilling finish of any episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour we've ever seen in the 6.5 years we've been doing the show. So get ready and strap in. And if you'd be interested in bowling in an upcoming Kansas City Open, check out their website at www.kansascityopen.com. So that's it for this edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Look for that Division 1 show I was just telling you about in the next few days. So until we meet again, this is Coach Randy speaking to you from Olathe Lanes East, home of the best youth bowling program in America's heartland, and wishing you all the best on the lanes and off. We'll talk to you next time on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.